What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, as we continue our coverage of Disney's upfront and in-person presentation earlier this week featuring Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige live on stage announcing details for brand new projects, one of the biggest bombshell reveals was for the upcoming Secret Invasion. We now know some details directly from Kevin Feige and Samuel L. Jackson as they pertain to the series and exactly when this show is set in the MCU timeline, which was majorly shocking to me because of the implications for which heroes and characters can show up and which ones can't. We're going to break down exactly what they said about the upcoming series and this major reveal for where it sits in the timeline, exploring a part of the MCU that we seldom see. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content here at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider scoop and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway, which we are right around the corner from the next announcement. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so Disney and Marvel really did this old school style, bringing out Kevin Feige live on stage, and when he was talking about certain projects, also bringing out the lead actors to discuss the details and hype up the show. He did this with Samuel L. Jackson for Secret Invasion to hype up their 6-episode series, which should be airing next year, and said this about the project: Secret Invasion will take place during the blip, in between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. And I know exactly what you guys are thinking immediately. I watched the same Infinity War post-credit scene you guys did, and we're going to get to that in just a second. Now, to add some further explanation, but probably not too much clarity, Nick Fury himself, Samuel L. Jackson, said this about the series, quote, "There are things that even I really don't know about Nick Fury that I just found out. The minds behind what happened during the blip are fantastic. That's part of what we're uncovering when we do this series now. It's giving me an opportunity to explore something other than the badassery of who Nick Fury is. I've had a good time doing that, and I'm looking forward to people sharing that aspect of who he is when the series does finally happen." Now, there is a ton to unpack here and implications about the show, but let's go one by one. First of all, Infinity War's post-credit scene where we watch presumably Nick Fury get dusted. Obviously, we've already seen that Talos will stand in for him, and there are several MCU theories that have been in existence really for years that attempt to explain all this. It all centers around this scene all the way back in Captain America: Winter Soldier. Now, depending on whether or not you think Nick Fury died during the scene, there are several explainers what might have happened from here. If he actually died, they may have used the Tahiti Project, much further explained during Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was overseen by Nick Fury in the MCU, ordered on Agent Coulson to bring him back using Kree blood. That was the whole purpose of that project, and if he did truly die and was brought back with the Tahiti Project, or even if he didn't, we don't see our Nick Fury from the scene again until Spider-Man Far From Home's post-credit scene when he looks like he's on the beaches of Tahiti on the sword base. Perhaps he left Earth because it wasn't safe for him there. Much easier to coordinate things from that sword base and or recover. Now, there are plenty of theories on this. Honestly, they could stand as their own videos, and I think as we get closer to the series, we may delve all the way back into this again. Trust me, guys, there's dialogue in Age of Ultron, there's dialogue in Captain Marvel. People have been trying to put this together for a long time. We'll probably finally get the answer, but before we delve into all that, really for a separate video, there's one other huge implication for this series we have to talk about. If this took place during the blip, none of the new heroes we've seen in Phase 4, none of the storylines, the character development, counts for anything during this series. And in fact, we sort of know exactly who was left to fight after watching everyone get dusted during Infinity War, which I would say does set up the Skrull invasion of Earth rather nicely, because we were at our weakest point and some of our superheroes that were probably almost impossible for them to beat or fight against, like Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, are now gone and absent. It is the perfect time to invade. But the one step further from this, the one further implication that we can take from this explainer, is that we're going to see some of those original Avengers, or whatever that organization looked like in the middle of the blip. You had Black Widow running it from the Avengers headquarters. It included Okoye, we saw Rocket, we also saw Captain Marvel, we also saw James Rhodey, as well as Steve Rogers. All of those heroes are in play, and while I don't think they're going to shell out the major money to sort of bring them all in throughout the series, I also think this is a great opportunity to see the reprisal of Chris Evans back as Captain America, at least in the finale. The imagery of him as a Skrull has been, well, part of Secret Invasion since the storyline has existed, and we've had rumors of him returning for at least one Marvel Studios project for the last 2 years now, and while we've all guessed as to what it could be, Old Man Cap and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is come and gone at this point, this seems like the perfect opportunity for him to show up in a finale, because it's sort of hard to imagine him sitting on the sidelines of the fight. And remember, leading up to the blip and what happened during Avengers Infinity War, Black Widow, Steve Rogers, Falcon, they were operating as the secret Avengers. Presumably they would have continued to do that, especially when they were super needed in between Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. But for devil's advocacy's sake, I will remind you guys, there were 5 long years between when the blip happened and when we see them again in Avengers Endgame, and you can imagine right after the blip happens and there's mass chaos, even the Avengers would have had a hard time coordinating and figuring out what's going on. I also can't imagine how they're going to address what should have been the confusion, the absolute meltdown to the grid system, to distribution, to everything that we saw scratch the surface with the pandemic years ago. If you lost half the population on Earth, it would bring everything to a halt. It would be mass hysteria, martial law. I wonder how they are going to even attempt to portray that during the show. We'll see. It seems like a lot to bite off for a TV series. It also seems a super ambitious designed to try to go after this storyline in between the blip, but also it seems a little weird to me too because of the stakes, and I really wanted to see some of the new heroes join up, but I guess we're gonna have to wait for a future crossover to see the likes of Falcon, Moon Knight, Shang-Chi, and She-Hulk all battling. Well, I guess at this point it won't be Skrulls either. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below. Are you hype about seeing this during this blip era? And how do you think this is going to change the Secret Invasion storyline? Obviously, it sets up the invasion and the reason and the impetus for it, but I just really wanted to see a huge crossover with some of the newer heroes. Do you also agree this probably looks like Chris Evans showing up, you know, in the finale, the same way they put Luke Skywalker in the finale of Mandalorian? They know exactly what we want to see. Let me know all your thoughts down below. Quickly, let's jump into the giveaway stuff. Before I let you go, we're still giving away PlayStation 5s, every 20,000 subscribers all the way up to 1 million, and we are right around the corner from the next giveaway at 960. If you want to be entered to win or for any of our future giveaways, or if you just want to keep up with the content at the channel, the easiest way is to hit the subscribe button, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. The best way to keep up is to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name Allfires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking that channel out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.